came back, and soon I took 2 more weeks, one over in Molokai and one let's see. Jeez.
Some beautiful.
Yeah, one of the other islands. Anyway, so we just got back Sunday night, so
Oh, wow.
it was a good time. She found a VRBO on close to Kona, in the Captain Cook area. It was built by the Beach Boys.
Oh, really?
That was fun. It was,
Oh,
you know,
I bet so.
and he said, you know, when they built it back in the 70s, there was no Kona airport. And it was only the Hilo airport, so they'd fly into Hilo, they'd get a helicopter, fly across the island, and set it down at the helipad on their compound.
Wow.
It's got, you know, it's 9.5 acres, it's got tennis courts, all the fresh fruit.
Did you have the whole place to yourself?
The whole thing.
Wow,
There's
that's
12
awesome.
of us.
Oh, don't
And,
tell my family that.
So, yeah,
Man, why don't you do that?
that was fun, we had a great time.
That's
So,
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well said.
I think you were in the Beach Boys, weren't
I made the final cut.
you? All right.
Are you ready to do your oath of office?
Yes,
So
sir.
repeat after me. I, George Clemens,
I, George Clemens,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Indiana,
of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially
and diligently discharge
and diligently discharge
my duties as a member of
my duties as a member of
the Redevelopment Commission
the Redevelopment Commission
for the City of Warsaw,
for the City of Warsaw,
Indiana,
Indiana,
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Max, right before you got her, Max says, well, it's better to be sworn in than sworn at. I said, not at my age, I'd rather than swearing, I'd rather be
Was
sworn
it
at.
Groucho Marx or somebody said I'd never join a club that would let me in?
Yeah, yeah.
That's all, I do remember, that's awesome. I remember. I just do my conflict of interest with Lynn, and I'll do that with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Thanks again. It's the highlight of my year.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Certainly.
You too. All right, have a good day. You taking the rest of the day off, or you gonna?
After doing all that, have you lifted?
We won't say anything, we'll say it took forever.
Long meeting.
Just don't build a city.
Well, I can go ahead and start the meeting whenever you're ready.
Okay, oh, that's right. Yes. Where's the gavel?
Yeah, it's down here. I'll wrap it
That's
for you.
fine. Good, thank you. Well, it's called, I don't have the agenda from me. We'll call our meeting,
Redevelopment Authority.
yeah, of the Redevelopment Authority. This is January 18th, 2022. So we've had the call to order the oath of office, and now it's time for election of officers.
I'll nominate George Clemens for president if you're still willing to lead us.
Sure, I'll accept that
Second that.
challenge. And I believe you were the vice president and you were the treasurer?
Right.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, you can elect the same slate of office from.
yeah, all right. Do we have a motion to that effect?
I so move.
I would be supportive of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so we are doing the same election of officers as we did last year. President, Max is the vice president, Steve is the treasurer, I believe it's your secretary treasurer.
Secretary.
And so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And is there any unfinished business?
We do not have any.
Okay. How about new business? Any new business?
We do not have any new business at present.
Okay. We might, any news that we didn't meet, we had to, couldn't get a quorum for our first meeting of the year, but anything interesting these guys wanna?
Well, we have a lot going on, so we'll see what all transpires, but a lot of projects may start this year that may or may not involve you guys. See how they play out, but yeah, a lot going on. Buffalo Street, the last project you guys worked on, obviously, if you haven't been down there, the plaza's done. The interactive fountains operational, the Indiana American Water Building's been mostly taken down. I think there's 3 townhomes, 4 muses that are under construction, and hopefully before June of this year, we'll start construction on the mixed-use building.
And
Well, the developer will, not us.
it's been in the newspaper, of course, and press, that we've signed a letter of intent, at least to talk about this GATKey, maybe
Yeah.
somebody developing that, so.
So I have an MOU, a draft
Yeah.
MOU that they have that may or may not come, depends if Shelby gets, reviews it and we meet, but it might be at the next redevelopment commission, a MOU for the GATKey property. We applied in partnership with Real America for ICDA grant for the Arnold property. They were awarded that grant, so we're in the process of working with the IFA and IDEM, cleaning up that property and doing the demo this year so that they can start construction on that project.
I have a question on the Buffalo Street project. Do we get property tax money from that area from anybody other than Matthews Warsaw LLC? Who else would we receive money from?
Well, the district's been expanded quite a few times, but, originally it was the Zimmer headquarters that was the primary taxes paid in that district. But there's, most of the downtown pays into that TIF district.
Okay.
However, they only pay in an increment that's above the base value. So the downtown has always been here, most of the buildings have always been here, so whatever their base value is stays with the original taxing district. We only collect anything that's over that base value. So if someone like Dave Gustafson, as he rehabs this building, if that increases that building in value, then we would collect that increment that would go into this TIF.
Okay, so that's all part of is it the northern TIF? Is that what that one's called?
Central.
Central TIF, okay, so the Buffalo Street project isn't its own TIF, it's in with a much
correct.
larger area.
Yes.
Okay, because my concern was, I looked up the Matthews Warsaw LLC on the government website to see how much tax we were collecting from that, and it wasn't anyways close to the bond payments that we're making on that.
No, and we did not issue the bond based on his development. We issued the bond based on the money we had available. So the original bond issue was for Central Park, and it was based off the Zimmer development. So when Zimmer built its new headquarters, we used that increment to build Center Park. When that expired in 2007, I think, when that bond expired, somewhere around there, then we were working towards our second project, which was Buffalo Street and then the plaza.
Okay, and that's when we issued the new bond.
We issued the new bond based off of the original increment that was in that district.
Okay,
So his development will generate increment, but it was never intended for that increment to pay for the bond issue. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Now, obviously, it goes into the same fund, so that increment would be available for new projects or new development or to cover the bond issue that we already had.
okay. So we aren't having any problems collecting enough money to pay that. I think it's our debt service on that bond is $160,000 a year. So we're collecting at
No,
least
yeah,
that much?
we have 200% coverage on that bond. That was
Okay,
always the intent that we would have that.
okay.
So anything he adds to the increment would be additional coverage.
Okay. Do you know, is our, I saw someplace where our bond rating was like double A minus,
Double A yeah.
and it's still,
Yep.
still the same? Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we only give bond ratings so often, but the last couple of bond ratings, at least the last two that I'm aware of, were both double A minus.
okay,
So if we do issue another bond that requires ratings, because not all bonds do require ratings, then that would be updated. But I don't think we've done anything that would alter that current bond rating.
okay.
So a lot of projects in the works. We've got a lot happening out at the northern tip district as well with the tech park and on extremities building and, so, yeah, we just, could be a very busy year if everything kind of falls into place.
Yeah,
It's been busy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, your position is not boring here.
No, it's not. We've got
I mean, it
a
really
lot of negotiations underway. We'll see how they pan out.
how are we doing on the old Owens site?
Same kind of thing. We have kind of a preliminary development agreement with that, with a developer that we're working through. Right now, we're at the process where we're doing demolition, getting the building down, and then project development, so we can see what the feasibility and what that project looks like.
Okay, so if that comes through, then the building will be torn down and a new,
Building's gonna get torn down regardless.
Okay.
When I say project development, we have an idea of what project we want to do there, but it has to be feasible. So we're in that process of developing that project and doing the feasibility study on
okay. Does Kroger still own that property?
No.
The city does?
it. In a way,
Okay, all right.
it's a holding company, it's not the city, it's through
Okay.
Kedco. They
Okay.
created a CHODA that is holding that property, that at some point would be transferred to the developer.
Okay,
So yes, we do and we don't. We facilitated the ownership of the building, so it is no longer owned by Kroger's, it is owned by CHODA.
okay. And what I read in the paper, that it's mainly gonna be another apartment complex or a
That's the
mixed
project
use?
feasibility study that we're looking at, is to see if it's feasible to put an apartment complex there with some mixed-use retail, office on the first floor, and potential for a parking garage.
Okay. Grocery?
We kicked that around, so that's in the mix, but a grocery would have to come forward, willing to lease space.
Yeah, okay. And is that part of the central tip
It is.
district? Okay.
It is not yet,
Oh, okay.
but it will be the intent to bring that property in. We've left it out at this point because any devaluation of property affects the TIF district as well. So over the years, as we've done some expansions, we've left that property and the Marsh property out with the intent of bringing them in when we do a project, when we develop a project, because then we'll bring it in at the base rate that it is now, rather than it being devalued over time and then adversely affecting the TIF district. Because obviously we want to see growth within the district, so when a building like that goes vacant, then it has an adverse effect on the TIF. So the intent would be in the next year to develop that feasibility of the project. Once we've defined what that project is and its correlation with its ability to be feasible, then we would bring that property into that central TIF district to develop the project.
Okay.
Are they actively marketing that, the old Marsh building?
Yes,
I thought they were, trying to sell it.
it's kind of the same thing with that property. I would like to bring it into the TIF district so that we can, help develop that project in the future, help develop that property. But we need to do it in conjunction with a project, otherwise it'll have a detrimental effect on our TIF district.
So Cardinal's no longer,
They still own it.
oh, Cardinal does own it?
Yep. my understanding is they're actively marketing it, so it's for sale.
Oh, okay.
you know.
So, because they were gonna use it, weren't they?
They were, yes. They're gonna stay where they're at now and do some rehab and some additions onto their existing facility.
I see, okay.
You know, it would have been a cool feat, I think, with taking that project on, I assume, after they bought it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest talking to them if you wanted further information about their project. I'm not gonna speak for them.
Right, depends on who gets it.
Yeah, obviously, there's some things that they need to do in the pandemic, hit them pretty hard with
Right.
employees and all of that, so
Yeah.
speaking with them for further information would be best.
Is the, back to the Buffalo Street project, the old water plant that still has some, I don't know what's left, but will the rest of
An
that
old
be?
concrete bunker, yeah.
Right,
it'll be-
right, yeah.
It'll be demolished, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a clean site when they redevelop it.
And that's the location where the mixed-use building
Yes.
is supposed to go?
Yeah, roughly, probably around 20-some thousand square feet of office slash retail use, and then I think around 50-some apartments, 50, 51, somewhere in there.
And that's where Parkview is already committed to having something in there?
That is my understanding, yeah. I mean, any leases signed would be between them and the developer developing that
Okay.
project.
And Matthew still, does he have that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he has until I think midsummer to start on that project. They have most of the architectural done. They are struggling with getting an engineering firm to do the engineering just because everybody's busy. They've entered into a contract with one and hasn't performed the services that are needed yet.
Okay.
So he's
But
still-
we don't have to worry about the delay in buildings going up?
No, like I said, the increment that is paying for that bond issue is existing and provides the coverage that is required.
Okay. No chance we would default on that?
Nope.
They knew there was the bunker was there, they just didn't know where it was on their property, is that the way that went? Or didn't they know they had a bunker?
I mean, it seems like it should have been pretty apparent that it was there, right? There were literally pipes coming out of the ground, my understanding. But that's between him and the,
Yeah, I know, it's gotten caught up a little bit, and it'll get worked out, but if they didn't know it was there, that would have been surprise.
yeah, I think that obviously to the contractor, I guess it was a surprise. I don't know
Yeah.
if they would have done their due diligence, I don't know why it would have been a surprise.
Yeah, I would have
I mean, it
thought,
was fairly obvious that there was something there,
yeah, oh, that's good.
but
Is that pump house on down the way, is that gonna stay?
For now it is. I mean, we've kicked around some ideas. I don't know that we've landed on one. So we'll continue to figure out what the future of that is.
Because if fixed up, it looks like a nice little building.
Yeah, I mean, it has some obvious character to it.
Yeah.
Right now, it is being used as a pump house. We reused that pit to feed the Parks Department's irrigation system.
Oh, so it is still being.
So there is a
used.
pump in there now.
Ah,
Not obviously to the extent that it was, and
Right.
obviously we don't need that building for what we have there. We could tear it down and have a tenth of what's there, but we'll continue to see what ideas we come up with.
yeah, I hope there's something, because I just think it's a nice looking building.
It has some enduring qualities, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just what we need to figure out, is there a use for it? We talked about maybe using it kind of as like a fishing, like you fish off. We've kicked around some ideas, we haven't landed anywhere. So we'll continue to look at what its future holds.
Good.
All right. Well, good conversation. It's good we
Yeah,
get to.
thanks for all the information.
Caught up.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly as things come up, we'll let you know. There could be a chance we have a meeting or 2 or 3 or 4 this year to see how it all plays out. But we'll keep you informed as we move forward.
Okay, so do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, man. There you go. Thank you.
Now it's official.
You are officially vice president.
He's ready to step in at 8:30.